Welcome back, everybody. It's time for Bakersfield Speedway. We had lots of stuff going on there last weekend. Mike Griffith was there, and I'm not sure. I'm not. There's kind of an elephant in the room here. I'm not sure Scott wants to deal with Mike anymore after this last weekend, but with the fire video that we got loose on Facebook, we talk about that later. But we got Nick Spain-Howard here. And Nick is the 2015 Sport Mod, Northern Sport Mod. Is there something else attached to that? Northern Sport Mod Championship, IMCA, right?
Yes.
Right. So, Nick, you tell us a little about your season, what went right, what went wrong. It took you a while to kind of get a win there, right? But you were in the points title the whole time.
Yeah, we started off good. Just the competition in Bakersfield is so stout. You know, once you start getting up there in the points, IMCA requires you to start in the rear of the field.
I was looking at that today when I was building the show, and I was looking at this, and I was like, because I think what did you finish, like fifth the other day in the last race?
I think sixth, maybe
sixth,
fifth or
but
sixth.
you got the points championship. But all those guys ahead of you all season long have been so incredible. I mean, what has it been like to race against those guys?
Oh, it's fun. I mean, most of them have got enough respect for you to watch out for you, and they give you room on the track. So that's been good. But it just makes you a better driver when you drive with guys that are that fast.
I mean, if you look at like Ricky Childress Jr. won, Gary Dutton has won races, Billy Simpkins won the season opener, Michael Johnson and Jordan Hager. Then you were sixth, Zach Boynton, Brenda Kirby, Kevin Johnson, Jason Nation. I mean, that's been a very stout field all season.
Oh yeah, everybody out there is capable of winning. You know, in any given Saturday night, it's just kind of one of those things where luck plays a lot.
Has this been the norm in this division, Scott? What do you think? I mean, or has this been an extraordinary year for competition?
No, it's the norm. Since we started Sport Mods at the Bakersfield Speedway, it's been a tough division. It grew fast. A lot of competitors always were having B mains and top caliber guys. So it's probably I stayed after the end of the night talking to Gary Dutton, and he's been offered an A-Mod ride, and he's like, no, I want to race Sport Mods because it's tougher, better competition, it's harder to win. So to me that said a lot, and it speaks volumes for that division.
Right. I think I was talking to Nick before the show. You talk a little bit, because last year you stayed away from Bakersfield Speedway chasing the state title, which you won, and this year you stayed home. And could you talk a little bit about why?
Yeah, last year chasing state points. You know, when you want to run and you want to get as many points as you can't go where you've got the most competition. It just wouldn't make sense. So if I had a better shot at getting a win somewhere up north, that's what I would do, because the competition at Bakersfield is hands down probably the toughest on the entire West Coast. Any track I've been to, this is the hardest place to get a win or finish even on the podium. So we stayed away from that this year, though. We wanted to race locally and race for a track championship here in Bakersfield, and that's what we did. I've been here all year. I haven't missed a single race. We finally pulled one off. I started racing in 2010, and I'm glad that I could do it right here in my backyard. It's been important to me. So
you kind of had a scare a few weeks ago. You go up to Hanford, which doesn't have a big field, and you blow a motor up there with, 2-point races left?
Yeah, we were leading up there, actually, and we lost the motor, and I'm kind of glad that we did it, because if I hadn't raced in Hanford, I would have been in Bakersfield and lost the motor, and I may have lost a points battle with Michael Johnson here in town. So it was kind of one of those things where it was a bad deal, but it was beneficial too, because I got to get my car back together before Bakersfield's next race.
And I'm sure with a few races left in the season, a motor was not in the racing budget.
Absolutely not. But when you get sucked into this points battle deal, there's no expenses spared on anything. So we went down and got another motor and got it back together. I mean, we may not be able to buy new tires for that car now, but but we're still racing.
He came off the win at the Mike Mosier Classic for $1,000, so that probably padded the engine budget.
Oh yeah, that definitely paid for it.
Hey, how sweet was that to win on the Mike Mosier Classic night?
You know what? I wanted to win the Bakersfield Speedway Championship, but more importantly, I wanted to at least have one win to back it up. It's nice to win one. You know you're consistent. But that was important to me, and it happened to be that night, and everything felt so great. You know, it was awesome, and I'm glad that is something that I was able to be a part of. And I'm hoping this is going to be a yearly race now, as this Mike Mosier Classic, and to be the first person to win a Sport Mod event in that race is a big deal to me.
You know, a lot's been said about Mike. What did he mean? What did he mean to you? And
on a personal level, I didn't know Mike too well. At the track, I always talked to him in staging. If I went up in the booth, he's always waving to me. If you're walking by on a Saturday night when you're not racing, he always points you out. He'll holler your name, and that kind of made me feel good. Like we were buddies. And I like how he livened up the whole program at the Speedway. He made
Absolutely.
everybody feel special, and he included everybody in everything. So you were never left out with that guy.
The coming up the rest of your season, how does that look for you?
We're still busy. I'm gonna race this weekend. I got a 2-nighter. We're going Watsonville this weekend for the Pettit Shootout. We may race Hanford a couple more times. We've got the Bud Nationals coming up here at Bakersfield. Are we doing Turkey Classic also?
Yep, Turkey Classic, 2 days of racing there.
Yep, and then we'll be heading over to Vegas in November for the Duel in the Desert.
Oh, really? Wow. So, but the Bud Nationals, though, I mean, that's going to be one. What do you think is going to happen with that as far as the competition standpoint goes?
I know we're probably going to have a lot more cars. Hopefully we do. I like that, when we get to run our B mains and stuff. It really brings out it brings out the best of the best in our whole division, and that's what I like, and I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have a guitar?
No, not yet. I'm gonna have to learn
the
to play
Bud
if I
Classic
win.
gives out Budweiser guitars as the trophies, and some people have quite a few.
Yeah, fortunately I have won one actually, but I didn't get a guitar. I got the cool trophy, but
So now you need the guitar to go with it.
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you can get one from Bobby
I was
Hogue.
going to say, Bobby Hogue probably doesn't have enough
He
room
probably
to
sells
store
them on
all these.
eBay.
He's got enough.
Well, let's take a look at a little bit what happened over the weekend. We've got some photos of Nick from the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Mock, who sent some stuff over. And let's go and take a look at this is what's coming up this weekend, actually. We have no racing this weekend, except we do have racing on Sunday for the go-karts, the mini dwarfs, what is that? QRC sprints,
yeah.
quarter midget racing, but we have a color obstacle run on Saturday. What's going on with that, Scott?
Everybody knows of the color run where you run
Yeah.
around and they throw powder on you. Well, this is an organization that comes to town, and they have 10 huge inflatable blow-up obstacles. So it's a 5K run through the infield out into the pits, but you have to go over, under, through 10 inflatable objects while having powder and all that thrown on you. So
Is Nick going to do that?
I might spectate that one.
So that's happening, and I do know we have over 1,300 people entered to race
Holy
in it, to
smokes,
run in
wow.
it. Starts at 9 a.m. If spectators want to come watch, it is open free for that. But I think the first group of runners go off at like 9:15.
Wow. That's great. Let's talk. And then we have go-kart racing and mini dwarfs on Sunday. And then we get ready for the Bud Nationals. So really, this is the next 2 weeks are just kind of getting everything ready to go for the Bud Nationals. Go back to that other side for a second before we show Nick there. What do you have left to do? What do you expect as card counts go as we get ready for next week?
87 entries at this point right now.
Okay.
People that have confirmed they're coming.
Hasn't been camping yet.
We've had calls and we've sent out maps of where they can, but no campers have showed up at this point.
Right.
This is kind of unique that we're doing this color run the week before, because usually we're already in the painting mode and all that to get ready. So now we have to wait till Sunday. Well, now it's Monday because we have go-karts too. So it's going to be a busy next week.
Next week will be
was when it really cranks up and gets crazy around there.
Well, the track. I mean, last year I remember seeing it was pretty dry at this point. How is the track's conditions right now? And Nick, if you have a comment on that too, feel free. What is it going to look like for the Bud Nationals?
Well, it'll be a normal racetrack on Friday night,
Yeah.
obviously, because we can prep it and get it ready. But just figure dry slick and to take rubber on Saturday. I mean, last year we had right at 200 cars and ran 600 laps over the weekend. So when you're going to put that many cars on it and that many racing laps, it's going to go dry slick. And we know that. Hopefully it'll take rubber quick and lock down and make for good racing.
All right. Let's take a look at here's the photos of Nick Spainhauer. Was this the Mosier Classic win, or was this from last year?
No, that's the Mosier race.
Okay. All right. Good. And some more of you in action here. This was probably with the previous motor. Who's that with you in this picture?
That's my father,
It's your father. All right.
What's his name?
John.
John Spain. All right. And then more of you, and then we'll get right into the modifieds on Saturday night. Mike Griffith, you were there, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Well, give us some commentary. What's wrong with you?
Well,
Come
I
on
was
now.
there, but I was up filming it all because a little incident. So it was after print deadline. So that gave me. I went up on top with the laptop and the camera and was trying to film and get highlights up pretty quickly. So generally good racing. I mean, those dry slick tracks, I think racers like them. I've seen a lot of commentary on Facebook. Because if it's really heavy, which I know the open wheel guys like, it's tough to pass. Pretty much becomes a one groove track. Dry slick track at Bakersfield Speedway allows you different areas to run on the track. The only problem is it throws a little dirt up in the stands, so it's great for the racers, not so great for the fans. I think racers have to understand that too, because I was up there looking at the laptop going, ooh, this isn't good.
The winner of this particular race was Kyle Heckman, who looked fantastic with the win. Now you talk about this though. I mean, is there a
that's 5 wins for Kyle, so he's had a stout
Great year.
season.
Yeah.
And
he didn't get to run for a while,
11,
right?
I think 11 different winners in the mod. So that just shows that the not only sport mod competition, but the competition level at the IMCA modified level in Bakersfield is really stout as well.
Now, and Heckman didn't get a chance to run the whole season either, right? He had to do some work.
Yeah,
stuff.
The company he worked for works a lot of out of state, have a division out of state, and he left. So he did give up his seat for a while and came back. But when he came back, he won some races, so he didn't miss a beat. That's for sure.
And we haven't seen a lot from Ethan Dotson this season here because he's been doing other things. But he comes to town and finishes second here. That was a good finish for Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan went back east and stayed back there and did a lot of racing and won a huge race back there, the Harris Clash. And then when school started, he had to come back home and get back into high school. And yeah, he's getting fine-tuned and moving up the ladder there, getting ready for the Bud Nationals. So he's one that you'll definitely see top of the field most likely at the Bud Nationals, if not standing in the winner's circle.
Brian Clark with third. Brad Pounds, your track champion. He is fourth. Cody Laney in fifth. Chad Reichenbach in sixth. Justin Schweitzer in seventh. Eighth place, Mike Kirby in ninth. Troy Morris Jr. Now, Nick, you're talking about competition, as Mike was saying. Any temptation to move up and go against these guys?
I don't know. I kind of like where I'm at. I've got it figured out, I think. I'm just waiting for that little streak of luck.
All right, let's move on to the sport mods now and some of the photos from Mr. Mocked and another great night of racing, as we talked about. Ricky Childress Jr. Won. Nick, what did Ricky do right to win this race?
You know what? Ricky was so far ahead, I couldn't even see what he was doing. So
He got out there and got a lead, but a heck of a battle for second place between Dutton and Billy Simpkins at the finish. And Billy's contesting it on Facebook, saying, I think I won, because I had the video there at the finish, and I think they swapped places as they went underneath the flag stand. It was that close, and it was all by transponders.
Yeah, it's
and
all
when
by
the
electronics,
transponders
Warner.
crosses the line, that's where you finish, and it had to be by the narrowest of margins because those guys were side by side. So really good finish there for second place, which was quite a bit behind Ricky. And then Nick was a little bit farther. Were you just trying to stay out of trouble that race as well?
You know what? I've had quite a few people ask me that, and I said I don't ever go out there and take it easy. I always drive the wheels off that thing, and we may have missed a setup. I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't get her done that night.
But you are the track champion. You finished sixth overall in this particular race. Zach Boynott was in seventh, Brenda Kirby in eighth, Kevin Johnson ninth, and Jason Nation in 10th place for the sport mods. And moving on now to the hobby stocks, and Kevin Collier finally closed out his championship season with another great finish there. Talk about the Kevin Collier season, Scott.
Well, first I want to give a shout out to Mike Hill. This guy has been racing
absolutely.
the last couple of years, and this guy was like shot out of a cannon. I mean, that car, the 59, took off from the green flag, and he was gone, checked out. I mean, we had to go look under the hood to make sure it wasn't his IMCA stock car motor in there because he was just flat flying. So I have to give a shout out to Mike and Sadie that are great supporters.
That was his first win, and he'd been working hard. He said what he did, he took the motor out of Steven Johnson's car, I think.
Oh, well, I don't know what he did.
I don't know, but
it was fast. And
it was fast.
He's been knocking at the door, supporting the racetrack. Him and Sadie, they're great people. And to see him finally win the last race of the year, I mean, that was awesome for me. I mean, I texted him as soon as he took the green flag, I'm texting him, congratulations.
Yeah, good win for him.
It was good to see him win.
And that 18 started closing the gap a little there toward the end, and slow and steady, but he just moved up. And I just he was in trouble a few races ago, tied with Robert Lawler, because it was almost feast or famine for Kevin Collier. I mean, he's out there leading the points, and he has a bumper fall off the car. He says, finishes last. Your bumper falls off. You're done for the night. And he says, it was just my fault. I didn't check. No maintenance. I didn't check it. it fell off like on the first lap.
He's arguably had one of the most interesting seasons this year. I mean, there was the little fracas in the pits. He had knee surgery at one point. Still got in the car. Of course, I think Denny Hamlin's proved you can tear an ACL and drive.
As it turns out, those wins early on in the season were pivotal for him because he had that transmission problem. He didn't even make a main event.
He had some engine issues too, and
and then he has a bumper fall off. And Nick, you can talk about it. Sometimes it's just bad luck, isn't it?
No, that's absolutely what it is. I mean, you can do all you want sometimes, and if it's not your night, it's just not your night. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's just the way racing is.
All right, let's move on to our American stocks and another big night of racing in the American stocks field, and we'll get to those.
And then this is another one where we just saw the 44 car. Brian Childress comes in 12 points behind his cousin Tracy.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many cars. It looks like there's no way that Brian Childress is going to win this championship. Well, the 17 car of Tracy Childress, she breaks some suspension parts, 5 laps into the race. Yeah. She's finishes about 12th or 13th, and Brian only had to finish 6th or better to get the championship.
Yeah,
and the door just opened.
One of those deals, we had 15 cars that night for American stocks, and the way it worked out is points-wise, then Brian was able to get it because Tracy, unfortunately, had some mechanical issues.
Right. And that just really got to hurt because you're coming in there, and you just it goes back to that bad luck when it's not your night. I don't think she hit anything.
No, it looked like she just
broke.
entered turn one and broke and went up to the wall. It was just,
just fatigue, parts fatigue, and it cost her a championship.
Well, Dakota Brown, looking thrilled, wins the championship, wins the race there. Trevor Baker in second, Roger Welch in third. Brian Childress is your 2015 track champion. Nicholas Johnson, and how old is he again? Nicholas Johnson.
He's 13, 14.
Yeah.
He's tiny, but that kid can wheel a car. I mean, it's so cool to watch him climb in and out and go race. So
he's going to be a name we're going to keep an eye on for the next few years. Terry Childress in sixth, Charles Morrison in seventh, Cody Johnson in eighth, ninth, Mike Conway, and 10th, Cale Hosfeld. And this is the division, by the way, you're most likely to have a relative in, right? In the American stocks?
Me?
Childresses and I'm not sure who they're all related to.
American stocks, the Childresses and used to be Irwins and stuff.
Yeah, it's a family tree-driven division right there.
Lightning Sprints, it was Bobby Minkowitz was your winner, Doug Nunez in second, Charlie Carcillo in third, Brian Corso in fourth, Chris Dickey in fifth, and Eric Turner in sixth.
Do we have that picture that Mr. Mock wanted?
We do, at the very end of it, yes.
Okay.
This is the midgets, Ashley Hazelton, Mike Leach, and Tom Patterson, Jesse Love in fourth, Jesse Love the fourth in fourth, Daniel Anderson and Ariel Biggs. Now, Jet Davison was involved in this sort of fire here.
But that's not Jet. This is a heat race, and this was an intact engine that was all sealed up and pistons and everything in the right place. Well, it wasn't after this. It was well ventilated down there in the pits. There was big holes and pieces hanging out. That's what you call a catastrophic engine failure.
That is a catastrophe. That's scary looking. So, and then we also had, that was the incident where we had the fire too. And for all fairness in this whole situation too, the video we had on our Facebook page didn't necessarily represent what had actually happened. And here's that video, because this was actually, everyone's out of the car to this point. The fire is just flared up more than anything.
It was actually a methanol fire, and the methanol was this is a traveling division, had no idea they don't have rollover valves in those tanks. And what happened is the last car that got into it did roll over, and methanol was spilling out on his deal. We got the driver out first and foremost, which is the most important thing. Then we started applying all the water to the methanol to get it out. At that point, we went through every fire extinguisher or every water can that we had. Then we had to get the water truck over there to put it out.
And at first, I was not filming at first, it was just a little fire. First, it kind of looked like an oil fire, just a little flame, and it looked like it was almost out or completely doused, but it just fired right back up.
Yeah, at one point, then the tire caught on fire. That's when you see more. The seat cushion caught on fire. It was those things that were flaring up to make it look like it was worse than it was. But we were able to get the water truck over there and apply the water in it to get the fire cooled down so we can get the methanol fire out.
And I think kudos for that, because that was just showing it. When you put that much water down at the apex of turns 3 and 4, It was Lake Speedway out there where I think Scott, I thought he was going to put some trout down there and give people fishing poles. But it took, about 45 minutes?
Hey, don't put it past Scott. He might
Yeah.
do that.
Well,
got the track back in shape, and it was very raceable.
And the thing that people don't realize is that there was methanol pouring out of that midget. So when we were spraying water on it, we still have methanol and water mixed together on the racing surface.
Wow.
So that's why we didn't allow the cars to restart. We pushed them, got them off, called that race, and came in with track equipment and ripped it, cleaned it up, and got it back into shape. And at that point, it's 9:30, and we still have 4 or 5 main events left to go. And all the other divisions just kicked butt and got it done, and we finished at 11:03. So it was
perfect,
phenomenal for the guys like Nick and the other divisions that came out and just had flawless racing. And for the last race of the night, I forgot to say we had 102 cars there checked in. So started out the year with 100+ cars. The last event of the year with the fair going on, we had 101 cars checked in the pit. So
All right,
it was a great night.
next week, these guys are going to be back. I don't know about Nick. He might ever come back again here with us, but we enjoyed having him in here. But next week we're going to do 90 minutes here on Bakersfield because we have the Bud Nationals. We got a lot of talk. We're going to try to get some more drivers in here and previewing this 30th. Am I right?
30th annual.
30th
Yes.
annual Bud Nationals. Huge event. This coming up the 9th and the 10th of October. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be right back with Kern County Raceway Park after these messages.